The game is Dave the Diver, a game where you just so happen to do all of the things that give me anxiety. Time management, customer service, and looking in on the infinite, unforgiving, inhospitable, gaping maw of the endless ocean. This is Dave, the Diver. Dave is an every man's man. Don't let this thin veil of a dad bod and dad fashion fool you. This man is an Colossus of a man with no fear, a man that can time manage, customer serve, and look into the infinite, unforgiving, inhospitable, gaping maw of the endless ocean and laugh. This is what peak male performance looks like. You may not like it, but this is what it looks like. Our mission for Dave is to survive 1 month in the big blue hole. How does it pan out? It's time to find out. See what I did there? I've rhymed out with out. Day 1 starts with Dave and his friend Cobra. Cobra looks like a rich drug dealer. Even his boat looks like it has a false bottom. And it looks like he dates women with false bottoms. We learn basic controls and how to catch fish. We catch 3 and realize that Cobra is always plotting and scheming as he does. And we head to Bancho Sushi, where we meet Bancho, a master sushiman. Careful, Bancho. Cobra looks like he uses the N-word pretty freely in his private life. Just then, there's a violent, but not too violent, earthquake destroying the humble sushi bar. Dave, being the stand-up man, he agrees to catch fish to sell and help rebuild the bar. Dave, a blessing upon this land. We learn from Cobra about Bancho's incident that happened to him some time ago that made him quit cooking for a time. As graceful as an amphibious gazelle, we head back to the giant blue hole and grind a full pack of fish to sell. At this point in the playthrough, I'm not sure if I'm going to go for 100% or not, but we'll see. The next phase in the tutorial grind is learning about serving in Bancho's sushi, making the menu out of the day's catch, serving the customers, etc. This sounds incredibly boring on paper, but this game is actually very enjoyable. On reopening night, we have a successful service with a goal of making $100. Story of my life, $2 short. Whoa, tentacles dragging boats around, just like the gypsy woman said. I'm sure that won't come back in the story later. Day 2 starts with more tutorial and, a lady character, well, how did she get my number? Either way, this Ellie character wants Dave to collect some samples of the sea. No sweat for this sea god. Poseidon checks under his waterbed for Dave the MNF Diver. We don't dally on Ellie's request and collect 2 agar and 2 red starfish. I'm sure she's going to play house with the starfish, that biology major weirdo, making them kiss and shit. We head back to the boat with a pack full of fish and ingredients. And what's this? Ellie calling me because we promptly got the sea sample she requested? Don't underestimate Dave, you pervert biologist. Ellie gives us money for the samples, giving us the last $2 and then some to complete our Make $100 quest, and having the money to repair Bancho's. 2 quests in 1 day. I better pace myself or we're not gonna make it this month. Next tutorial leads with a call from a man named Duff. Duff is an interesting, pillow-loving man who also loves to construct firearms. Your typical Silk Road dark internet user. Of course, Cobra knows him. No surprise there. In order for Duff to construct our weapon, we of course need to dive for material. I would say this is unrealistic, but considering how much garbage is in the real-life ocean, this is an incredibly believable part of gameplay. Of course, Dave is up to the task. Fish material for Duff. We ascend. Duff agrees to construct our underwater gun with an admittedly impressive building montage. We wrap up the day of diving and head back to the bar. We get to serving and hustling for that sushi cash. Day 3 and another part of the tutorial, and another character. Now we are introduced to Dr. Bacon, distant cousin of Kevin Bacon. He is another researcher, but he is actually interested in the underwater civilization, and it is not Atlantis. Don't you dare call it Atlantis. The doc tasks us with finding a remnant of the lost underwater city. He also gives us the iDiver app, so we can upgrade our diving gear. After upgrading our dive suit, Dave the Diver is now able to dive deeper and stronger than ever. Dive, stab, fish, gather. And would you look at that, Dr. Bacon's remnant of an underwater civilization, long gone. We escape through the pod and back to the surface. Bacon is thoroughly excited with the find. Takes it, farts loudly and awkwardly, and then leaves Cobra and Dave in the crop dust cloud. Cobra and Dave head back to the bar to see the renovations. The bar has taken from drab to a chic. So the next step for Bonchos is to set up an Instagram page and post all the shiny meats glistening off the well-oiled breasts. It's time to start using sex to sell this fish. Back to the hole, I upgrade my capacity, oxygen, and dive suit. Dive. Dave is hailed by a majestic dolphin, whom I've named Lil Jon. Not from Robin Hood, but the rapper. Strong name for a boy or a girl. Lil Jon beckons us to follow. Dave, with the swiftness of an underwater mammal, follows, only to find an even littler John, stuck in a net. Of course, Dave is going to cut this poor fellow free. The saint! The dolphins celebrate and depart, but not after leaving Dave a nice little gift. Gather, fish, and I guess running out of oxygen, so it's time to resurface. Dave, of course, hustles back to the bar to hustle some sushi. Next tutorial and a new character to boot. In walks Yoshi. She's here for fine whining and dining. Boncho clearly knows her, but is insistent that she tries the shark head dish. Dave salivates at the imminent battle with a shark. He is thirsty for shark blood. Set menu, pour tea, stack cash next day. Dr. Bacon, I presume. The doc gives us a quest marker after letting us know that he has analyzed the bracelet. Now he's sending Dave under the waves to look for more signs of the sea people. Dive, fish, gun, gather. We take on the tiger shark as requested, and the shotgun style proves very useful. Dave the Diver's bloodlust cannot be slaked. I have a panic low oxygen, low IQ moment, and forget to harvest the shark's body for the second time, so I scuttle around for a while, then go back to the surface. Oh my god, who is it now? Oh, this is Sato, another dork of a character. He's about collection in this game, cards and apps and the like. If I'm going to 100% this game, which I may or may not, I accidentally come across a cave that piques Dr. Bacon's interest. But alas, we are going to need a bomb to get into these mysterious passages. I cut this trip short and head to the boat. Cobra reconfirms we're going to need a bomb. Guess where we're going to get the supplies? Mother Ocean, of course. First, a night of slinging sushi. And yes, Yoshi's shark head. Bone apple tits, Yoshi. I think she likes it. Yoshi then tells us about hiring new concubines for the sushi bar. More hands helping mean more cash for Dave. Pour tea, serve fish, stack racks. In fact, our food is so damn good that we earn bronze level of food Instagram. Day 5 begins with nagging. Ellie wants us to collect shell samples. Way to waste Dave's time, Ellie. Holy shit. This man has killed sharks in hand-to-hand combat. Are you kidding me? But being the absolute angel on Earth, Dave agrees to help. You're a better man than I, Dave. Oh, look, our dolphin friend. How may I assist you? Well, Dave was trying to have a good day, but I guess he will see life leaving bodies here today. Dave cuts the ropes while dodging gunfire. Turns out, it's pirates after these dolphins. I guess they make the best tuna fish casseroles. After the little dolphin is free, they give him some dolphin gold, worth a whopping 500 real-life dollars. Dave might as well work for the dolphins with the cheddar they have. I continue with the day with collecting Ellie's stupid shells and Cobra's equipment so he can make the bomb. Behold this nail-biter brawl with this shark. A serious melee that ended with a sliver of health. A serious melee that ended with a sliver of health, but an oxygen tank right here? Luck or skill, you decide. Trying to move this incredible payload, we start losing oxygen quickly. Whilst we ascend, we drag our treasure and carcasses back to the surface at a painful pace. We get a call from Ellie, and she is impressed with how quickly we procure the sea samples. We also get an Echo Watcher for our troubles. I don't know what that is. We give the drone parts to Cobra, and he promises he can get us a bomb by morning. Not for terrorism, only terrorism against the sea people. Before we take our second dive of the day, we purchase some upgrades for our diving gear. Dive, stab, gather, epic damn shark battle. Sharkhead is back on the menu tonight. We use the escape pod to head to the surface. It was kind of nice not having to do storyline stuff and just destroy life in the ocean. I hire Kyoko. Kyoko? I hire Kyoko for an internship amount of money, and we put her as a server. I research some new dining treats and watch as a hyped-up Bancho cutscene plays. These really are top-tier cutscenes. With Kyoko's help, we sling sushi faster than ever and stack that cash, baby. We have a decent night, but look at that. Almost next level in our Insta standing already. Day 6, the doc shows up to let us know that he's got the explosives to blow up those rocks at the tunnel. Cobra also lets us know that he's running some shady as shit under the table shop now. Don't use me to fuel your drug habits, Cobra. Oh, look at that underwater camera. Nice. I purchased a trunk thing that lets me transport an extra 10 kilos. It's better than nothing. Off Dave goes to do some underwater demolition. I gather some jellyfish and tentacles for a future quest and make my way down to the tunnel. In a split, we find that tunnel and place those explosives. Let's charge ahead fearlessly, shall we? The room contains a mural of Poseidon himself. Dave sees himself in this mural. I don't blame him. We take pictures and do some looking around to what's what. Grabbing a last-minute artifact, we hear all sorts of underwater people gibberish. Ugh. After that weird interaction, we head back to the surface. Bacon is there to greet us, and he is very titillated. I mean, we all are. This damn hippie heard the explosion somehow and is all sorts of mad. What's your name, old chap? John Watson? Get fucked, John Watson. Next expedition only yielded fish and shark. No big deal. Back at the bar, we get a new VIP, Vincent the Gourmet. He says stuff, but who cares? Bancho says he's gonna put some wild stuff in his mouth in 2 days and tells him to piss off until then. I respect you, Bancho. We tea, we sling, we clean, we count that money. Bacon arrives with the Sea People bracelet. Now I can equip accessories and find hidden little power-ups. I don't know if Dave's a bracelet guy. No, I know I'm not. I buy and sell things to Cobra, that huckster. And with all these racks, we purchase upgrades for Dave's gear. Then Duff lights up our line and says he needs a sexy girl figurine and will trade us for a deep sea headlamp. Duff is a man of great taste, I can tell. Diving down, we immediately see the pirates on some bullshit. Antagonizing the local dolphins again, well, Dave doesn't need much of a reason to beat some pirate ass. Unsurprising, Dave feeds all of them their own organs and they run away with their tails between their legs. The dolphins do their little snuggy heart dance and give us another charm for speed boost buff. I get caught with my pants down against a shark and barely make it out with a sliver of oxygen left. Of course I trigger the quest and panic swim to a nearby escape pod. That shark wins this time. Back at the surface, Duff gives us a glass cutter to be able to invade that transit ship. On the way down, we fight one of those needle-nosed fish things and then cut into the ship. The swim down to the box is uneventful. Whoa! A giant eldritch horror. Duff is seemingly the only guy that believes in Dave, sending him to grab his babe's box. The giant squid likes to send Dave back to the depths via propulsion and ink? Ugh. Dave makes it back to the squid and shotguns him straight in the eyes Zelda style. We get blasted back, but it's not really a big deal. The squid takes a cheap slap shot before taking a full slug and then dying very bombastically. An eldritch corpse in Dave's wake. Nothing to see here. The two sea people limp away from the squid corpse. Dave is a man of many talents, but understanding their underwater people gibberish is just not one of them. In true barbaric fashion, Dave cuts a tentacle for a trophy, then secures Leah Chan's box for Duff. And true to his word, he gives us the deep water headlamp. I call Bancho and tell him to roll up his sleeves because we're feasting on giant tentacle tonight. We invite all of our friends and Dave schmoozes the partygoers. We also let Dr. Bacon know about the spotting of the sea people. He predictably gets excited. Dave raises a glass and a heartwarming toast are shared. Off in the distance, none other than John Watson looks on in jealousy. And of course, Dave is in this evil man's crosshairs. Dr. Bacon shows up just in time to throw up in the ocean and then ride off. Very similar to his fart situation. I upgrade my suit and dive back into the deep blue. Upon diving down, who else but John Watson arrives and challenges Dave to an underwater gunfight. You fool, John Watson! Why would you challenge Dave in the ocean? Home team advantage. This fight isn't even close. John Watson, you are out of your element. Upon defeat, John Watson muses that he just lost a fight despite being a Navy SEAL, but a Navy SEAL could never beat an actual SEAL. John Watson does more damage to the ocean and flees the scene. It's a pretty quiet trip after the battle, but we reach the deep, dark depths with our deep sea headlamp flickering on for the first time. I do some gathering, but unfortunately I came down into the depths with a big bag full of stuff. Despite that, we still make our way through the tunnel and stumble across the sea people. Dave realizes the only way to communicate with them is to get a translator, which of course, the material will be found in the ocean. Back to the surface. We head right back down and find the photo op with the dolphin. Also, the translator material is found in the mural room, the transport room, and finally, the depths. Surface! Bacon takes the material and promises the translator by morning. It's time to return to the bar and tend to the VIP. We've had the ingredients for this, so it's not a big deal. I think he liked it. He liked it so much he gives us the ability to pour beer for our patrons. Finally get them drunk, baby! I train up Kyoko so she can serve the drinks, and we put up a flyer to hire more people. Hot damn, our rating goes up too. I also carefully pick some decorations, and after a busy night, we have one of the best services yet with that big old money haul. Hello, Day 9. Hello, translator. We can now understand the sea people's water gibberish. Also, Duff calls us letting us know we can upgrade our guns, as if Dave wasn't already badass enough. After a run-in with an octopus and picking up the charm it left, I head to the depths to finally talk to the sea people. Come to find out that the Princess Sea person has been injured, or sick, or who cares. They request that we collect sea ingredients to cure her, but of course the ingredients are not usable in the current state and need to be refined into a food item. I know it's a video game, but oh god, sometimes the gamey stuff, it's just really annoying. Oh dear, Dave turned into a gopher. Bancho works his magic on the ingredients and makes something I'm sure is quite delectable. Oof. Anybody else have thalassophobia? It's why I can't play Subnautica. I give the coral porridge to the princess and she's immediately better. Like, strangely quickly better. I mean, not all the way better. She still needs to be carried, and we're lucky because Dave is a saint among men and drags her happy ass back to her home. We get to almost the entrance and see that the rubble is blocking the way. A pair of better diving gloves would do the trick to clear. Oh dear Dave. Turn into a moving company? Of course, Bacon gives us a ring and says he can supply those crucial gloves in the morning. Until then, to the bar! Just then, a wild VIP appears. She has some kind of hand puppet thing that do her talking for her. Just like the other VIPs, she wants a very specific dish. I hire Rahul as Bancho's sous chef. I'm sure he's worth the extra coin he costs. Oh look, I have two VIPs, and this guy's a rowdy fella who can only be soothed by a moray eel, which can only be found at night. I give the little girl her hyper-specific dish, and she has a little Food Wars style moment. She comes back with a second request as well as a bug net. We finish the food service and charge on to day 10. The doc stops by first thing and drops off the cool new diving gloves. Like the gauntlets from Zelda, Dave can now lift anything. Making my way back to the depths, we get accosted by the little octopus, get inked, and then he disappears into the depths. You dirty octo. I have new gauntlets and let loose the rocks. Very satisfying. I grab the charm and make my way to the sea peeps. Dave, using his mighty strength to shift the rubble and avalanche, open the way to the underwater city. Talk about male power fantasy. Dave, you absolute stallion. We gather at the bottom, another earthquake. Courageously, Dave swims towards the danger like a man, like a tomahawk straight into the heart of fear.
Gonna learn today.
The giant eel puts up a short but gallant fight against Dave, but not even giant eels can handle a shotgun blast to the face. After the impressive display, the sea people have no other choice but to be impressed. The princess opens the gate, and we get a grand sight of the underwater city. The guards accost Dave and take him to the king. The king is definitely a loving father. The king realizes that Dave would be a powerful ally to help him bring the city back from the brink. However, like all kings, he needs the support of his people. So our next task is to do menial tasks around town to gain support for Dave being integrated into the city. Look at him! He's one of you! Whatever. The king gives Dave a mirror so he can warp back to the underwater city during the day. But next we head back to Boncho's. Dave arrives a tad late for service and decides to clean up. Yoshi comes in and starts going off about Boncho's past and why he stopped cooking for a time. Long story short, he was going to cook the shark head delicacy for some famous bitch staying at a ritzy hotel Boncho was working at. She gets revolted at the idea without trying it and hurts Boncho's little fifis. He stops cooking and Bob's your uncle. Dr. Bacon drops by on day 11 and Dave fills him in on all that sweet underwater people action and gossip he's been getting into. Bacon is his usual excited self. Dave uses his new warp mirror to head back down to the underwater city. We spend the day doing menial tasks for the people, mostly fetch quests and meets and greets. Nothing really to write home about, all in the name of favor. By pure happenstance, I actually stumbled across the Queen Cleone. I was a little taken aback since I only had the net gun to fight with. She was quick, but Dave is always quicker. We smite her down with some well-placed rifle blasts. Dave also finds a picture of that girl back at the sushi bar. Interesting. I'm sure it won't come back in the story later. Another epic battle under the belt. It's time to head back to the surface. It is, however, our first night dive. Our main objective is the moray eel. The night fish are a little bit more aggressive. Would you look at that? The elusive moray eel. I thought it would be more dangerous. The night dive was also uneventful, but a net positive because of the moray eel. We give the picture to the Maki girl, and apparently there was a cassette tape with her father's voice on it. Her father, like all fathers, regrets not spending time with her, and he worked too much, and now he's dead, and I'm not crying, you're crying. With that, Maki decides to work as a sushi chef. God damn, that's hard to say. The food service starts and we serve the moray eel to the noisy man. Ugh, god damn, chew with your mouth closed, kid. Fuck. We hustle the sushi and sling that drink, and we make a bit of that clink. Udo shows up in the morning and says he wants a picture of the famed manta ray that took out our homie Steve Irwin. Irwin is the only other man who could rival Dave the diver in manliness. Otto, the noisy moray eel guy, built some new fish tanks to help out Dave. Then Dave warps back down to the Sea People Village for more favor tasks. More fetch quests. Yeah, more fetch quests. This part of the game is the longest by far. Long in a bad way. We get the puss, we shoot the shark, we fetch the things. Whoopee whoa. Quit trying to make fetch happen. What up, girl? Can you walk on the surface or what? Would you look at that? Full favor of the whole society. From just a few fetch quests, I'd say it's more Dave's charisma than the fetch quest, you silly game. The king will see us now, and we shall know the plight. There's a dumbass tree in their village that's super important or some shit, and it's too hot or too cold or whatever. We must help. And Dave, being the stand-up guy he is, decides that of course he's got to help. There's a way to fix it in the sacred underground passage, but of course, the mother of all fetch quests. We must fetch the key to the door. Of course, we could not just walk in. This is an amateur hour. But instead of going to the passage, I decided to go back to the boat. For reasons. I didn't say this was a speed run. And in keeping with non-speed running, I proceed to waste the day just collecting bits and bobs. And back at the bar, an insufferable VIP walks in. Michael Bang, a director of action movies. He's a douche, looking for inspiration in food, and of course, Pancho Chalablage, with one specific request that he needs the best rice in all of the world. Pretentious. After the VIP departs, I click around and realize how to add Maki to the chef lineup. So with double chef, triple servers, we are a real sushi machine at this point. And for some reason I get to see into Duff's dream life. Well, it's hilarious. I don't think I'm going to follow up on this minigame. Lucky day 13 consists of Otto coming up with a plan to get the best rice in all the land by growing it ourselves. A brief tutorial and back to the deep blue. Oh look, a big whale, and we're in luck. It's friendly. Dave records its whale sounds because I guess Ellie can decipher whale gibberish now. Did some fishing to catch the last fish to make for Mike Bang. That is hard to say. While putzing around, I hit a bit of a rough patch and I died. When you die, you can only take one thing, so of course I took the fish for Bang. Back at the surface, I call Ellie, and she says the whale gibberish is about its offspring. A proper fetch quest. Fetching a child. Back down in the water, I have another rough go of it and have to bail and resurface prematurely. Damn, am I getting worse at this game? Almost right away, I find what I'm looking for. The underwater vortex. Inside, if the rumors are true, will hold terrors nigh unimaginable. That's not scary unless you're afraid of diesel. It does smell bad. Well, that's a giant hermit crab hellbent on pulling Dave's insides more to the outside. Took a little bit of trial and error, but eventually I figured out how to fell this crusty old chap. That's the way. Knock that dumbass tire off. A few more explosive barrels sends that giant crustacean running back to its mama. Farewell, homeless crab. I take my trophy and head back out to the blue. I find the manta ray photo op for the books. I gather some ingredients before heading back to Boncho's. We make some sushi and hot damn, we make a tidy bundle. Straight away I head down to the sea people to perform their fetch quest. The key is in a dangerous place. How dangerous? Well, let's find out. We enter the cave cautiously, but unafraid, and we solve a puzzle that took me way too long to figure out. Sometimes I question my mental acuity. The key does not elude for long, and then we must find our way out of this passage. We find that there are zombie-like sea peeps that we must deftly hide and run in order to escape. Nothing Dave can't handle, that underwater beast. We definitely avoid the mer people only to be accosted by none other than John Watson, that blackguard. And this time he came equipped with an exosuit in a futile attempt to even the odds with Dave the Diver. Through some experimentation, we harm the exosuit with its own bombs. Ha, dork. It's not long before John Watson falls to the might of Dave the Diver. Flee, former Navy SEAL. We collect the exosuit for personal future use. But now we must return to the sea people. Look, King Sea Guy, I fetched the key. Let's do this thing. Oh my god, do not launch into a long and extensive story of the history of your people. He launched into a long and extensive story of it. Oh my god, I don't care. Dave doesn't care. You don't care. Good God! Oh look, he gave me a new charm. That's nice. Finally, we head to the underwater lake and take a sweet photo op. But if I were a gambling man, I would wager that there's a hellish monster-like creature that's been causing all this trouble. Lo and behold, said Mickey Gross out, this thing is truly gross. We'll take that. Let's head back to the sea folk, shall we? But first, seahorse races, of course. Look how happy Dave looks. For some reason, instead of talking to the king, I decided to go take pictures of giant turtles. Worth it! Time to surface. I train up the sushi staff and we proceed to truck in that money. Then we have to play as Dr. Bacon. Listen. I don't want to play as Dr. Bacon. I want to play as Dave. Dave is a god. Bacon is a sideshow friend. Do not force him on me and try to pretend that this is epic gameplay. The Doc does find some treasure, but the pirates... I forgot about the pirates. Chase Bacon on speedboats. Alright, that was kind of epic. A little tad better. Next day starts with a beautiful rice harvest, just in time for Mike Bang. During the day's dive, I found this wonky-ass fish. Quickly after the weirdness, I hear the familiar sounds of a baby whale. Dave, of course, jumps into action, moves heavy rubble, and then makes friends with aggressive petting. Then the game breaks another cardinal rule by making us do an escort mission. But we get the baby whale back to its mama. Oh, we're getting rolled up on by the jets. Nope, the sharks! But they quickly realize they're far and away the biggest dog in this fishbowl. Hell yeah. Fairly well, young family. Ellie somehow knows of our success instantaneously and calls to congratulate us on the safe rescue. Oh, hello, friend. Time to head back to the Sea People and explore the passage. The passage has some light puzzle elements, but nothing too difficult. No shark battles or eldritch horrors here. Just getting story blocked by a rock. That's right, a rock. I could have swore I could move these. Back to the boat. Cobra tells us that there should be a crowbar where the shipwrecked boat was. We make Mike Bang's special dish. I think he likes it. Then we wrap up another service with some cash. Except not as much money as normal because I forgot it was jellyfish day and I didn't prep any jellyfish. I'm sorry. The best way to start the day is with a very expensive upgrade. And then a deft dodge. Dave, you devil dog. Into the wreckage. It doesn't take long to find the crowbar. But it takes my smooth brain a little longer to realize that the rocks have to be in a very specific spot in order to yank the bar. Lord! Attacking crustacean! After dropping some rocks, Dave gives the crowbar the old heave-ho, and then it's back to the Sea People passage. But first, seahorse races, of course! In the passage, there's more light puzzle work, but it's really quite easy. After solving the puzzles, we go into a notably dark passage. Let's turn on the lights, shall we? Oh, hello there. Swell day, well, it's time to go. This behemoth gives chase, pushing Dave to the absolute limits. The behemoth decides it's time to break its spine. Well, just in case, let's get out of this passage once and for all. Of course, he's not had enough. Time to bury this fool once and for all. Who is my savior? Oh, it's the guy. Oh, it's that one guy. Oh, I'm sorry, I have forgotten your name. But you've been quite the tool to Dave, so I suppose this is part of your redemption arc. In order to survive the depths of the passage, I must craft clothes from the material the king gives Dave. Time to talk to my good old racist friend Cobra. But we're not done with the excitement. There's another vortex and there's another blue hole horror that awaits us. Luckily, it doesn't take long to find this vortex. Dear Lord, it's a giant boxing shrimp. Well, put your dukes up, bud. The battle rages back and forth, and Dave survives on a razor's edge. Victory is sweet, but then I die on the way back to the surface, so you win some, you lose some. At the bar, we have another VIP. A rap star of sorts. But Boncho, not for the color of his skin of course, but just being in tune with the cult here, is playing an absolute banger over the PA, Hot Pepper Tuna. That just so happens to be this Sammy fella's very own song, and the song is certainly catchy. This rap nerd wants the finest vegetable sushi, which I feel like is an oxymoron, but the customer is always right. Time to up our catching game. We learn to drone away the big tuna. Just in time for the event coming up, Cobra lets Dave know it's time to infiltrate the terrorism group and upgrade his gear. After 10 service, though. This drone leads me down to the secret base where Dave utilizes his stealthy service. He uses his finely tuned body to sneak past all the guards and up to the office where he sleuths out the parts he's looking for. Getting cornered, calm, cool, and collected, Dave dives through the window of the top floor and down to the water below, all in a day's work. Dave gives all the components to Bacon to craft his future super suit. After some gardening and upgrades, it's time to get the ingredients from the garden. Back in the water, I managed to round up some tuna for the upcoming event, as well as giving the opals to the sea person blacksmith. I help him round up some ancient tree fruit, and hopefully soon, he'll open up that blacksmith. At the sushi bar, we ended up having one of the most lucrative nights ever. $7,000, man! Bacon rolls through, giving Dave a new, bright, fresh diving suit that allows him to plunder even deeper depths. I set traps and round up even more tuna. We've got to make that cash money. These buggers are a pain, though. It's time to head to the deep, cold depths of the Glacier Passage. But first, off to the races, of course. I wish I could tell you I had a good first outing down at the passage, but I got absolutely whipped by one of those spiky whales. No sense in feeling down. Onward. I cautiously advance back into the passage, and with a plethora of new fish to catch, I pick up the net gun and go hog wild. After I find a mysterious passage with a slate for Bacon to translate, I get my revenge on the sword whale thing and harvest its sweet meat. I even got another pick. Finally having a successful voyage, I head back to the boat and have Bacon translate the slab, only for him to tell me he can't. What do I pay you for? At the bar, Sammy shows up to have his vegetable sushi. I think he likes it. Plot twist, Otto the moray eel guy has fathered this rapper chap. I will say hot pepper tuna is a goddamn banger. Another chaotic service, cash reaped. Tuna yacht party. Otto gives us a call to stop by the farm, only to see that Sammy has decided to give up his life in the music industry and raise chickens with his dad. Sammy, hot pepper tuna. Total banger. Back down to the sea people, I talked to what's her name, and she says she can't translate the slab either. But something, magic spell will open the door with what's his name. He opens the door doing the Macarena, and we're in the first Glacier Passage. Light puzzles and traps later, we activate the symbol to the first passage. Whatever. I collect more ingredients and fish, then I stumble across the guy with the turtle, trapped behind ice. The only thing to do is launch his giant ancient turtle using his clothes as the slingshot. You cold, old chap? It only took me a few hundred times to launch the turtle correctly and escape. Alright. After the escape, the grateful fish guy gives us his ice pick. Very nice. At the bar, a new VIP appears. Wing Peng Walla Balla Bang, whatever. But it appears it's a Chinese cook-off between the fellow and Bancha. Easy work, I'm sure. However, it's tuna party night, so head on straight, Bancho. And look at that tidy sum. Day 21 starts with a lovely time in the garden. After an upgrade, it's off to the races. After a tussle with a shark, his corpse gets zoomed to the surface as we resume our adventure. I find the second passage, but without the beluga whale, I cannot enter. Quite the shame, considering I will struggle to find this place in the near future. After some foraging, I come across the said beluga being poisoned by some rotten little octopus. I give chase, and after catching that little codger, I decide to spare him. Dave is a generous god. I give whatever the octo coughed up to the whale, and voila! A perfectly good beluga whale. And shortly after, another whale. Whoa, but this time he's a big old boy. I really don't know anything about whales. Blue? Maybe he's blue? I don't know. Looks different than the blue. The second dive proved fruitless. I looked positively everywhere for that second passage, but alas, I get eaten by a shark. Heck. After cheating death, another food service. Uneventful. Nothing to report. Every good day starts with gardening and spreading shit all over the plants. It's time to head to the second passage. Despite the current, we have the help of the beluga whale. Like Mario and Yoshi, this Dave and whale team crashes their way to the next boss, a giant jellyfish lady. The fight goes thus. We fight through a mighty current, dodge explosive jelly, and we wait for the lady's skirt to be hiked, and then we strike at whatever that is. With the help of the beluga, we smash our way to victory. We grab a trophy, we activate the ancient technology, and off we go. Having the second passage active, it cools the passages in the downstairs area so we can finally explore. This new area has a ton of new sea life and goodies to pilfer. So we go on a wild collectathon. Many new species, many new dishes. It's also time to storm that last passage, but this time we have a friend from the Sea Village. This fella, I'm sure it's time for him to nut up or shut up. It's actually a pretty interesting game mechanic where I have to control both Dave and Sua, that's his name, and even though the puzzles weren't too challenging, it was a refreshing change of pace. Dave truly is an athletic specimen. After the puzzles, we discover another mega ocean abomination. He's got a saw on his lower lip. Now this fight encourages the use of both Dave and Supu, but I don't have the coordination to make that happen, so Dave does all the heavy lifting. Like all monsters of the sea, a few blasts from a gun will sort that saw lip out. And also running into a wall, don't know why I did that. Nice! Gave up his lip saw, an absolute score. I activate the final passage and the door shall open. Of course, there's always something. This time the tree roots are preventing the door from operating. I feel your frustration, Dave. And look who it is, John Watson. Never ceases to show up when you least expect him. Well, go on, John Watson. How will you thwart me today? John Watson's carriage seems nigh impregnable. So I decide it's time to depart. See ya. Wait, is John Watson dead now? That was unceremonious. But now I have a whole other problem on my hands. This new monstrosity. I have no problem telling you that this one gave me a bit of trouble. I died quite a few times in very pathetic fashion. As a matter of fact, I almost gave up. But Dave would never give up. I used his inspiration and persevered. Finally, I thought I was blindsided with that loss. I thought I was completely stonewalled. But I bashed my head long enough and blew this house down. Dr. Bacon, what do I owe the pleasure? He says he can cut through the roots, but them being so robust, it will take 2 days. So then I will return then, back to the bar, and another VIP, another chef duel, a 5-star night and a 5-star day. We tread water for the next 2 days, collecting fish and money, but also collecting the heads of our enemies in the next cook-off with the VIP. Who knows his name? Who cares? He's a scrub. Unsurprisingly, we win and soldier on to the final chapter of Dave the Diver. I excitedly head to the depths of the passage. I was actually unaware that this is the end of the game I was heading into. The gate is now open and Dr. Bacon is there to see us off before we head down and face whatever is down here. Automatically, I could tell something grim was happening down here. Creatures unlike anything can be found down here, as well as the odd goop and poop covering the walls. Puzzles based around these odd creatures and the goop and poop, I make my way through these dangerous tunnels. I come across eggs stuck betwixt the goop and poop. The spawn started hatching and chasing Dave. He dispatched this evil-looking spawn without a problem. However, ammo starts to run out as we fight them off. This place is absolutely disgusting, and we need to kill it with fire. Dave takes some heavy damage, but wipe out the whole gang of these gross things and melt that mucusy goop and poop blocking our way. Dave is a unit of a man. But I don't know what we're going to do without ammo for our gun. In the next area, I search for ammo and realizing now, without a doubt, they are about to sick a boss on poor old Dave. Alas, there wasn't any ammo, so we have to painfully whack these gross shrimp spawn things with the harpoon. A cutscene triggers, and out comes a gross-looking mantis ant underwater thing. It postures up out of its slime, and even with a gun with no ammo, Dave looks into its eyes unflinching. Even if it's death, Dave will accept fate on his feet, not on his knees. But we didn't do all those fetch quests and research for no reason. In comes a strange contraption, and who is transmitting from it? None other than Dr. Bacon and my main boy Duff. Duff lets us know that this transformer machine has bullets and oxygen for days, so fear not our ammo problem. And it's time to lay the final smackdown. With our transformer contraption, we proceed to lay down bullet hell on this monstrosity. Damn, this thing can even manipulate time itself. There must be some kind of dark matter in this machine. We beat the first phase and Duff lets us know we're going to need more stopping power. But of course, this floating gun has a secret. A bigger, badder gun that can charge and blast. Kaboom, okay. That is very satisfying. Dave lets her rip and cannons new holes in the beast. Enjoy those. You should ask Dave to sign them. They'll be worth money soon enough. Sweet bullet hell. I am not good at these types of games. After a fit throw and being put on the back foot, the creature is forced to retreat. And Dave springs into action like a leopard. Smelling blood in the water, gives chase to the unknown. With more blasts and bullet hell dodges, the tunnel inevitably ends, and into the next phase of the fight. In the twist, now Dave is the one being chased, and also more bullet hell, and it's a mad sprint to the end. Dave's cardio is unmatched. The chase is by far the easiest portion of the fight, but we get to the end of the tunnel and possibly the end of the line. For we have reached a dead end. Sure, QTEs are normally dumb, but somehow this moment is made epic, and sometimes interacting with Dave's cat-like reflexes in this way is just right. After that deft dodge, the creature finds itself bound up in the tree roots, a perfect stepmom way of finishing it off. However, the device we were using to blow it up just so happens to be malfunctioning, so we must get creative by using ancient technology found conveniently in the corner. Dave decides now is the time to be humble by saying it's too heavy, so as the fish people arrive, they will feel like they're helping. Dave plops the power orb thing and watch that beam go. With a surprisingly gory end to the creature, we head back to the village for a debriefing of sorts, where they didn't really seem all that grateful for Dave, but yeah, he saved your whole village, yeah. Whoopie-woe, I guess. That's like thanking a fireman for putting out the fire, you know, it's just, he's just doing his job. Dave heads back to the bar to see all of his friends he has made along his adventure waiting for him. Momo, I will always be a Catman first and foremost. Sammy, Hot Pepper Tuna, is your way into Valhalla, friend. Duff, keep trucking and loving those pillows, mate. Otto, you're alright. Yoshi, I'm deciding to end our love affair. It would have never worked between us, darling. Udo? Yep. Cobra, I hope you learn to judge people not by the color of their skin, but by the merit of their character. Ellie, I forgot you were in the game. Sato, kinda forgot you were here too, bud. Sorry about that. Dr. Bacon, you're like that annoying friend that you end up hanging out with anyway. Bancho, there's a kinship between bros on the grind making that money. Vincent, you're kind of a douche. Well, That's everyone, I believe.
Yeah.
Dave ends up in the pantheon of gods amongst the stars.